As a new player to Warhammer the Old World, what if you could show up to your next game knowing that you had one of the best units available? Today we're going to be talking about 5 of the best units currently in the meta. I've been doing a bunch of deep diving, trying to get to know Warhammer the Old World better, and this is what I found for you guys. So let's dive into it and talk about these 5 units that will bring up your gameplay. Starting at number 5 is the Tomb Scorpion. The Tomb Scorpion is a fantastic unit for the Tomb Kings that does a lot of damage. The Tomb Scorpion is a surprisingly cheap power unit that is an expert at ambushing and flanking. It's a wonderful unit to bring up when you're playing Tomb Kings because you have a lot of the chunkier line units. I guess chunky may be relative for Tomb Kings, but having a flanking unit that is pretty fast and pretty cheap is very strong. They're 70 points and they can mess things up if you're flanking or ambushing them. So bringing them to the tabletop is a great start to everything you've got going. On top of that, the models look really cool. If I haven't already, we're going to throw up the image right there so you can take a look at the way at least the heavy metal team at Games Workshop paints them. I think there's a bunch of different paint jobs that I think would look better, but that's up to you guys. If you have Tomb Scorpions that you use and you're a Tomb Kings player, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to see them. Maybe tag your Instagram so I can go take a look. From what I've seen, the Tomb Kings can be a little bit difficult to paint. They're simple yet complex all at the same time, leading to different tiers of paint jobs. So once again, if you have Tomb Scorpions, let us know in the comments below if this is correct, everything I found. I really love the rules and units and how they're played as well. I think they'd be a lot of fun to play with that style of army. I'm not a Tomb Kings player myself, but I think it's a good option for anyone who is a Tomb Kings player and will do a really good job wrecking enemy infantry and potentially their ranged units if you can get them in the right position on the tabletop. On top of everything else, these units have the ambusher key rule like we just talked about, but they're also not weak. Some cavalry units can be almost chaff to armies, but these guys aren't. They're very strong and very powerful and can do a pretty good job. On top of that, they do have the ability to slay the monster-sized creatures, sometimes with a little bit of help, but they are capable of that, and they're a good defense against some of the larger monsters. So bringing them to the tabletop is a great way to start. Everything I saw recommends bringing these in that, especially in that 5 to 1,000 point games. At that level, they're almost game-breaking. So make sure you bring them early and get them going fast, and I think you'll really enjoy them. Okay, the next one is a core unit that actually activates an army rule in the Armies of Infamy book for the Beastmen of Chaos, and that is the Beastmen Wild Herds. By using its rule in the Armies of Infamy book, you're actually able to activate something that lets you bring in a lot more gores, centaurs, trolls and other beasts to really actually shape a battlefield. The Beastmen of Chaos are often considered a very chaffy army. They're a lot of just hordes and hordes of beasts. And bringing as many of these wild herds as you can, you're able to activate these rules that gives you the roaming hordes abilities and lets you have a lot more punch and a lot more mobility and a lot looser of a formation, which keeps you from getting as destroyed as you would be in other detachments or structures. So looking at the Beastmen, this may be a good option for you. On top of that, these units pair very well with the Bray Shaman, which gives you magic resistance and the ability to fight back against magic-heavy armies. For example, my Warriors of Chaos army, the one time I played it against a Beastman army that didn't have this setup, and I beat the living daylights out of it because I run double dragons. But having these abilities to activate the Shaman and get them working properly gives you a magic resistance that helps you be a little bit more stable against Bretonia or the Tomb Kings or the Warriors of Chaos that will throw a lot of magic at you. Same with any of the elves. And because of this has shifted the Beastmen from being kind of the chaff beatdown army that everyone plays when they're just wanting to have fun to an actual contender in recent years. So make sure you check that out as well. Next is one of the 2 armies that I've actually played, the Warriors of Chaos and their Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights are kind of a mixed bag depending on how you play them. They can be very chaffy if you don't buff them up and get them everything they need, but giving them a god, giving them relics and things like that, they quickly go from being kind of a chaffy cavalry unit to a very heavy punch, especially if you have magic to back them. So my Warriors of Chaos army, while I technically have some of the foot soldiers, I do have a lot of Chaos Knights, because pairing them with my double dragons means I have a very fast board that can hit from different directions and do a lot of different stuff, especially with chaos magic. So it's a very powerful unit to activate and get involved very quickly. So it's definitely recommended if you're going to be doing a Warriors of Chaos build right now that you go heavy Chaos Knights. I will add pairing them with Marauders, so you have throwing spears that get a little bit of range, and flanking and maneuvering helps a lot as well. So make sure you pair them with strong magic and some Marauders to give them some cover, and you'll have a tank of a unit. With this next unit, Chaos is eating very good in Warhammer the Old World currently. We have the Beastmen, we have the Warriors of Chaos, and now we have the Flamers of Tzeentch. The Flamers of Tzeentch are a very powerful demon unit currently because, well, Flamers. On top of being level 3 wizards and are able to channel a lot of magic themselves, they're able to bring a lot of hurt to the tabletop, moving in small units very quickly. Now, mono-god demon units are still pretty rare when it comes to Warhammer the Old World. Not a lot of people are playing them yet. A lot of people are still using them in AOS instead, although I'm suspecting we're going to start seeing more and more of them as they get pushed out of Warhammer 40k. But I do really like the Tzeentch army as well. It's one that I would consider playing someday, but I really don't want to rebase all of my demons that I currently have in the Thousand Suns army. So, as of right now, that's where my demons are going to stay. I suspect they'll stay pretty heavily with the Thousand Suns in Warhammer 40k, so I'm just going to leave them there. They're still really good, and they're a lot of fun to play. But if you're a fan of Tzeentch, and you're wanting to move into Warhammer the Old World, this may be the place to go. Now, your Warriors of Chaos can be mono-god if you want, although bringing in demons is pretty rare in your Warriors of Chaos armies, so going a full demon army may be your best route if you want heavy demons. And right now, Tzeentch is the strongest, which is the exact opposite of how it is in Warhammer 40k currently. Tzeentch demons suck in Warhammer 40k. But in the old world, they are very powerful because magic is extremely powerful. So getting them involved and getting them ready to go quickly is the best way to do it. And all you have to do is get square bases and stick them on the AOS models, and you've got your demon army. And I would highly recommend it. They actually just released a new Tzeentch demon box, I think about 5 months ago for AOS. So if you're wanting to go that route, you could probably pick it up still for pretty cheap. Same with Nurgle if you're wanting to go that route. And you'll get a lot of really cool demons that can be activated quite quickly and moving. So when it comes to demons, get your Flamers of Tzeentch and use them to manipulate the table with a lot of magic, and you'll be very strong there as well. And before we get to number 1, I have to shout out our sponsor, W Energy. You've heard me talk about them a lot. They're my favorite energy drink company. They have a lot of clean energy, and let's dive into that video and talk about it. Oh, sorry about that. Just enjoying a nice clean W Energy. It's our new sponsor on this channel that I'm super excited to have involvement with. They're a clean energy company that specializes in unique flavors and a bunch of different varieties of products. In the past, I've had some health problems in my life, and I've become very particular about what I take in. And unfortunately, in the energy world and in the hydration and electrolyte world, it's pretty hard to actually be super detailed without spending a ton of money. And that's why I enjoyed W. They're a very clean and healthy alternative to your big energy drinks like Monster. But on top of that, they're actually designed with electrolytes. They also come with the electrolyte specific version called W Hydro that is also a big part of what I take in. So I would definitely recommend checking them out at w.gg. And if you use code WARGAME, you can get 10% off any of your purchases. I also have a link down below in the description so you can go check out their starter pack. You'll notice that a lot of the top armies in Old World aren't the ones we're talking about here. These are the single units you can pick up to strengthen your army the best. And that's why we're going to jump to number 1, the Casket of Souls for the Tomb Kings. And yes, the Tomb Kings are on here twice. So getting the Casket of Souls and Scorpions are great ways to buff up your army if you're a Tomb Kings player, especially if you're in that 5 to 1,000 point game or size. This is a place to start and build quickly. They're some of your bigger units that you're going to want to get involved very quickly. The Casket of Souls is a buffing unit. It gives a lot of buffs to casting for your Lich Priest and anything else that's casting magic. And for the Tomb Kings, that's a lot. For this army, magic is a heavy thing that you're going to be using regularly. So getting involved with that is a big thing you want to do from the very beginning. On top of that, it has a massive leadership buff that is very, very strong, giving you almost 48 inches of leadership buff across the table. That's something that no one else can do. It's a very, very big buff and gives you the opportunity to build things that you may not be able to do and maneuver in ways that you can't do without it. So getting that at the 1,000 point size is a great place to start testing it out and get moving with it. Now, that covers all of the top 5 recommendations that I received for units to bring to your army. You'll notice only one of them is from an army I have, but I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys any other recommendations for other units and armies that are very powerful and are must-buys currently. And let me know what you guys think about these types of videos if you're a big fan of the old world and you enjoyed it. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, W Energy. It's got a lot of really cool stuff for you, and my link down in the description below gets you a 10% discount. And I will see you guys in the next one.